After all the research, all the scouting missions, all the interviewing, I still haven't had my own encounter. Sure, I've seen and heard weird stuff, but nothing that I couldn't easily explain. And I've yet to understand what it is that people are seeing and why they feel the way they do and why they're so convinced that it's Bigfoot. For decades, I've heard stories of large hairy beasts lurking behind the trees from all over the Northeastern United States. Some accounts are recorded in local newspapers, others become modern folklore, and yet there's so many lost to history. Because some people are just reluctant to admit that they had an encounter to a friend, never mind a neighbor or the authorities. Sometimes these people put themselves out to the public and talk about their encounters, and when they do, it encourages others to do the same. The most compelling stories come from law enforcement.
Something told me to turn my spotlight on now. Something just told me to do it, and right off the kitty corner of my car, here's this creature standing there, 7.5, 8 foot tall, 400 pounds, maybe more, maybe a smidgen less, staring at me. I had my hand up, the hammer pulled back on the gun, and all I could hear in my head, believe it or not, is I'm not going to hurt you, I'm not going to hurt you.
Brian Gosselin's encounter on Abear Road put Whitehall on the map and triggered a Bigfoot craze here in the Northeast.
Hi, I'm Mike, and we're here in Whitehall, New York. We came looking for leads on Bigfoot, and we walked into a festival. As far as the eye can see, Bigfoot vendors, Bigfoot experts.
Whitehall's a Sasquatch hotspot. There was a sighting just as recent as July.
Every time I talk to a witness and live their encounter with them, I feel something inside myself growing. What started out as a curiosity has now become a passion, a primal desire to take up adventure and find more clues in this mystery. Because whether you are skeptical or not, these events are happening, and it's changing people's lives.
When I was 7, I was walking with my brother. We lived in the country out in Hampton, just outskirts of town. And I was getting hit by little stones in the side of my head. And every so often I got hit with one, it was like a little pebble. And my brother was behind me, we were walking back from down the road. And I kept saying, stop throwing rocks at me. And he said, I'm not throwing rocks at you. And I turned around to yell at him after like the 3rd or 4th time I got hit with one. And when I turned around, he put his arms in the air and he said, I'm not throwing rocks at you. And just then I got hit again with one. And I looked toward the woods and I saw this creature. It was small, it was not a big one, it was small, kind of dingy, white, dirty. Was a monster to me at 7. I had no idea who Sasquatch was. I did not know anything about it. And I screamed, ran home. My brother chased me behind me. He didn't know what I saw, but he ran with me and got to the house, told my mother, I'm crying, I saw a monster, blah, blah, blah. When I described it to her, she knew what I was talking about. I didn't know for years, and then everybody was telling me that you saw Bigfoot. I actually took a lie detector test and passed.
Oh, wow.
So, because, nobody believes you. But the lie detector test doesn't prove that you saw Bigfoot. It just proves that you're not lying about what you say you saw.
It's hard to find purpose and grind out the research when the noise of cynicism is so discouraging.
That was here in Whitehall.
Yes.
Last year we were here and we talked to other people, and it sounds like there's a lot of sightings here in Whitehall.
There's been a lot of sightings.
Do you have any idea why they might be here?
I have no idea why, and I have no idea why we've never found one. Because I would love to prove it because people call us crazy,
Sure.
and we're not.
Yeah.
There's gotta be more to this than that. I gotta go back to Whitehall.
We're going to Whitehall for the 2nd time in a row. We're going to have a blast. Can't wait to come around full circle at Whitehall. We've met a lot of cool people in the last year, and I hope to run into a lot of friends that we've met along the way. We're going to meet Steve Kulls, and we got something really cool planned where we started in Whitehall knowing absolutely nothing about Bigfoot. We're going back with not only a new perspective, but more questions. Have you seen a Bigfoot?
I have not seen a Bigfoot, but I have heard all the stories. I've watched there was like an episode of, I think, Finding Bigfoot on Whitehall. I remember we watched it in elementary school, so I'm very deeply into the culture. I'm into the history. I've heard it all.
That's awesome.
Yes.
We are here with Whitehall organizer Barbara Spoor. All I have to say is, what did you do?
I don't know.
This wasn't this big last year when we met you. It's incredible.
Yeah, the festival's about 25% bigger this year.
It's amazing.
It is really incredible. You know, it's awesome to hear from all the people who come back year after year. I honestly think, you know, people are giving me props, but I really think it's the people that are making this festival what it is. Yeah, so I give all the credit to the people because, you know, people come back year after year and they tell their friends. So they tell their friends and family, and then they come. I just heard someone went and picked up their family member from Montana who flew in here just for this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've heard people are from Florida, the UK, really kind of everywhere across the country and even the globe, which is kind of awesome.
It's a worldwide event now.
Yeah.
That's amazing. We started coming up last year just to get into the Bigfoot community. I didn't really know much about it other than bumper stickers and coffee mugs, right? And I come here, I learn about, well, we talk to you, learn about the festival, learn about Brian Gosselin's story, and Paul told us about more stories, and we meet more people with more stories.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind. It's alive and well.
This festival makes a believer out of
Definitely.
any skeptic, I think. There's just so much fun energy surrounding this topic in general. And you know, there's so much compelling research evidence that, you know, from our researchers, and just hearing their stories and hearing everyone's story. You know, everyone here, maybe not everyone, but a lot of people here have a story to tell.
Yeah.
I actually just ran into a friend of mine at one of the booths here. She was like, I've never said anything to anyone, and it just came out of my mouth that I saw a Bigfoot one day. And I was like, what better place to let that come out than at the Sasquatch Festival,
yes.
you know? So it's such a great environment. I mean, obviously you can feel the energy here, and it's just so positive and cool, and yeah, it just makes you want to believe that there's more.
It's
more
a welcoming vibe too, and that might have to be that small town community that you guys have here,
Yeah.
but it's like we come in and we kind of, it's nice. It's a good
Yeah.
feeling, kind of feel at home.
I'm so glad you feel that way.
and-
We work really hard to kind of keep it community based, but for a larger audience. That's always been my goal. Is, you know, a lot of local organizations have gotten their start from this festival. They're able to raise money. They're able to start projects. So the fact that you feel that community feel, I mean, that makes it all worth it.
And we're trying to bring it back to New England and have fun. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part and doing whatever you did to help make this happen. Thank you, because it's so much fun.
I appreciate that very, very much. It takes a village. It takes a lot of helping hands. We've had a lot more volunteers come on this year. It just wouldn't be possible without really all of the people who helped make it happen.
I remember coming to the first Sasquatch Festival when it was like this little cardboard cutout picture frame, and then it was a mini calling contest, and then the next year it like slightly got bigger, and then in 2019 I actually volunteered for the festival because I was a part of Honor Society, so I needed some hours, and I knew Barb from volunteering before. And there was 40 vendors at the time, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this seems so much more bigger than what it was at one point, which is crazy to think that we thought that was big. Barb has been so great about being like, you know, you're not doing something that you're told you have to do. She's like, you want to work on branding, like you can work on branding, which is just having something so versatile has been really awesome.
How you doing, Mike?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good seeing you again. We saw you a
Likewise.
couple weeks ago and over the summer, so for us it's great coming here and seeing familiar faces.
Oh, sure. First year here, and what a great festival.
Cool.
You know, nothing better than something that's all about Bigfoot.
I was surprised to hear that Bigfoot is actually here in Whitehall or around, so we don't have to go to the West Coast to find Bigfoot.
Sure.
And we were just talking, you think it's right here in the Northeast?
Oh yeah. Just as much potential, I think, as the West Coast too. We just have a quieter audience, I think. You know, not as many people speak about it, and you know, we don't know why that is or whatever. Yeah, until you start prodding, you're not going to get the stories that you might, you know, in some of the other parts of the country. It's kind of interesting that the discoveries start happening on the West Coast, where we have reports from the 1800s around here.
Yeah.
Right, and so those shouldn't be dismissed by any means, right?
Right,
And
yeah.
the fact that they continue up to present day means that there's probably something to it.
Yeah.
You know, so if, you know, I have an experience where I'll be sitting around with 5 guys and I'll mention it and one will have a story. And that's a pretty high ratio, I think.
Yeah.
We met Joey and Anthony of the Finding Dystopia YouTube channel. They've teamed up with Brian Gosselin for a research documentary and shared a booth together at the festival. We discussed some of the tools and tech that they use in their paranormal and cryptid research. We could have talked for days, but the DJ booth across from us didn't make it possible to record a great interview.
So if you see something and you press the trigger, you'll get the capture on the camera.
Okay.
If you're
Walking around Whitehall and I bump into Dave McCoullough. Dave, how's it going?
good,
It's
nice to see you again, Mike.
So, what do you think of today? It's a beautiful day, huh?
Oh, this turned out great. Like I was telling you earlier, it was fog and cloudy. 4 or 5 years ago, there was 30 people here. No vendors, no food trucks. And now it's just, they really made quite the festival out of this.
Yeah, it's a great day.
Yeah.
The sun's out, people are having a great time.
20 years ago was my first time up here I went on a BFRO expedition. Get out with some great guys from around here. I've had a lot of activity, actually. I've seen some orbs, first time out with the BFRO. I come up a couple of years later on my own, got some interesting sounds, grunts. Just a great place. You can get lost out in these woods out here. It's so vast.
Yeah, that's what's fun. We talk to people that are from here, and you know, a lot of people have had sightings or know somebody that's had a sighting. What do you think that makes Whitehall so special with Bigfoot?
I think because it's right connected to the Adirondack Park, and it's like all these towns around here, very low population. It's safe. There's just farm after farm. If you drive around these roads, there's plenty of game, you see all kinds of animals.
Because I'll be honest with you, Dave, when we first came up, we weren't sure about this Bigfoot thing. Is it real? Is it not? Is it a hoax? Is it just fun? But talking to people, especially somebody like Brian, who was in law enforcement, and even somebody else we just talked to said they took a polygraph, and they're being honest. They see something, and things are really happening.
Right. His case really put Bigfoot on the East Coast map. Everything was out on the West Coast. And when I first got into it, I thought the same thing. It's all around the country but New England. And once I read Paul Bartholomew, he's actually here with us too. His book, Monsters of the North Woods, but Brian Gosselin's case on Abear Road, for me, that sealed the deal. There were so many cops involved. And he told me some good stories on his own that afterwards they all met up at a diner, and guys that were there on the scene that saw it, they were denying it back at the diner. And one guy had a cup of coffee and his hand couldn't stop shaking. And I didn't see a thing. I didn't see nothing. I don't want to talk about it. And so you get people like that with, they did see it, but they still deny it.
Well, I think that's part of the story we learned last time, that Dan Gordon's partner, when he was on the force, he had his sighting.
Yeah.
His partner wouldn't come true.
Right.
But Dan was more than one.
Right.
We talked to Andy, who said, you know, kind of told us his side of the story, or what, you know, his brother. And from what he says, he took his brother's word for it. There's no reason he would have anything to lie, make it up, or any of that. So this is all really cool stuff.
Yeah, I actually met Dan Gordon here. Before this thing took off, it was very low-key and very convincing. Another one that his partner wouldn't get out of the car, and he just said, that wasn't a bear.
So we bumped into Mike Familant in the shadow of the big red eye here in Whitehall. We just ran into him last week in New Hampshire at a library.
We're just butting into each other everywhere we go. I love it.
So tell us a little bit about this place.
Sure. Well, Whitehall is just the epicenter of Bigfoot activity here on the Northeastern Seaboard, and it's so great because look at all the people that it attracts. This is such a great event. You just can't, the weather is phenomenal. You cannot get a better day and a better place to celebrate Bigfoot than Whitehall, New York. Right?
I love it.
We're doing it.
You know, bumping into people from all over the Northeast, and when I started this a year ago, I didn't think there was Bigfoot in the Northeast. I thought it was only in the Northwest Pacific.
Yeah.
And Brian Gosselin told me otherwise.
Sure.
So it was cool to mix it up with him last year, get to learn a lot about Whitehall and a lot about what brings people here. And this event's growing.
Yeah.
You travel a lot through the Northeast and around the country. What do you see? Do you see a lot of enthusiasm? What do you kind of see in the Bigfoot community?
Bigfoot is the next biggest thing. It really is. Everybody loves Bigfoot. It's such a cultural shock to everything. It's so everybody, you know, back in the day people didn't want to talk about Bigfoots or whatever thing, you know, it was such a taboo topic, right? Nowadays, look, I did 100 library presentations just last year looking for Bigfoot. If that doesn't show that Bigfoot is in the inn, then I don't know what does.
And you must have had stories from each one of those events.
Oh, everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
What's your favorite story?
Man, my favorite story, it happened back, I believe it was in the early 1900s, but it was in Battle Mountain, Nevada, I think it was, and there was a wildfire, and there was a big fire. The wildland firefighters were all taking a break, right, and kind of sitting in like a little circle while they're, whatever. A Bigfoot comes out of the woods smoking, charred, burning, and passes out right in front of their feet. They put him in the ambulance. They had an ambulance there. They start IVs. They listen to their abdominal sounds, everything. It's very well documented. I don't know if it's a true story, but if it is, it's pretty phenomenal.
Wow, that's
Yeah, that's cool.
Never had a Bigfoot sighting myself, but I'm kind of, I'll say I'm forcing it, but I'm trying to find that hot spot here in the Northeast where I might be likely to find one.
Maybe tonight.
Maybe tonight. Maybe tonight.